and video. You may ask, why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. And GPS photography and video will leave you speechless. GPS specializes in weddings, swords, fitness, and so much more. Book your next shoot today at 910-257-0526 or gpsphotoandvideo.com.
Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. The podcast is brought to you by Maximus Posing Suits. Let your inner warrior shine. Custom competition suits for victory on every stage. MaximusPosingSuits.com. And of course, GPS photography and video. Why photography and video? Because a photo's worth 1,000 words, video's worth 1,000,000. GPSPhotoandvideo.com. Special shout out to Michelle Bogdan, owner of Maximus Posing Suits, as she's competing this weekend at the Triple O Dynasty. It's her inaugural pro debut, so I want to wish her well. And also to Teresa Ivancic, IFBB women's bodybuilder and Amazon-sponsored athlete. Want to wish her well as they get closer. And peak week, it is what it is, as they meet that grind and then they head out to Arizona to compete. So all the best to both of them and all the competitors as well. My guest tonight is an NPC figure competitor, powerlifter, motivational speaker, writer, and she just wrote the article, The Right Fit, for the March issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine, Miss Melissa Bisnet. How you doing, Melissa?
Hello.
So,
I'm fantastic.
We were talking earlier, just before we came on. The day was leg day for you, so you took a nap. So, how you feel now?
I feel rejuvenated now after about an hour and a half nap.
Well, like I said, it's authorized, and take those breaks when you can. So, was this your last workout of the day, or do you had a workout earlier this morning?
Right now, I just started my prep. I'm in a 30-week prep. So my cardio is only about 30 minutes, and I do it right after my workouts. I work out first thing, kind of mid-morning after the morning rush goes away with my coach. And then I'm done for the day. So knock on wood, I hope it lasts a little longer until my food starts getting stripped down and the cardio starts to go up a bit more. So I'm still loving life right now and I feel really good, but I don't know how long it's going to last.
Well, all about pacing yourself, and it's early, but hey, it'll work out in the end. I know. So tell me a little bit about yourself as far as how you got into competing and how you got into fitness.
Okay. Well, I've been in the fitness world for about 8 years now, 8 to 9 years. I was in corporate healthcare for 30 years, and I recently retired last May. I did a lot of patient-centered care, and I worked with my organization on the statistics of how to build up our organizational standards with national standards, and very, very busy, very demanding. And I was very unhealthy. I was very obese. I was pre-diabetic, had hypertension. My highest weight at the time was almost 300 pounds about 8 to 9 years ago. And, to be in corporate healthcare and you are the symbol, or supposed to be the symbol of good health and telling patients how to get the proper care and do all the right things for their health and wellness, but yet you don't embody that, made me really have to take a step back. And I remember I went to my doctor, and I had been sick for a while and couldn't kick this flu. And he sat me down, and and I think this is wonderful with some of our physicians nowadays is he really had an honest conversation with me. And he said, you know what, look, you're young. You are not even in your 40s yet, and you are going to have a stroke. You're going to have a heart attack. You are not going to be able to see your kids when they get older. And you need to really make some life altering changes here. And that really hit home for me. So I came home and had a conversation with my husband. And for me, I needed to really take some drastic measures. So I stepped down from my corporate position and took a less demanding role. And I slowed down on the corporate track. I was trying to get up into the C suites and trying to be an executive, and my health was saying, that ain't happening. You need to have some other in mind. So I took a step back and focused on my nutrition. I hired a nutritionist. I hired a personal trainer. I started going to meetings on, how to eat better, how to meal prep, how to plan better. And I basically had to relearn the whole model of health and wellness and nutrition from the ground up. And I spent the first couple years doing that, lost all the weight, and became a personal trainer and a certified cycle instructor, and just fell in love with the industry and just the transformation and the journey in itself that it took me to. So I want to pay that back to people now, to a lot of my clients, because I want to tell people this is possible. You can transform yourself if you put work in and you believe in yourself.
That's great because you're living it and you're showing it as well. And you're being a prime example for them. And so many times out in the corporate world, you get into a sedentary lifestyle and it's a lot of stresses on you. Make this sale, get this bid in. It's a lot can on you, even though you're making great money. And like you say, you're climbing that corporate ladder, but it takes a toll on you as well. So how many competitors do you train? Do you train mostly lifestyle clients or those that are getting ready for the stage?
I train, so my niche is pretty broad. I have some competitors that are training for the NPC stage. I have a competitor who does wellness. She went on stage last year. We're kind of taking a break this year. We're doing some growing. I've got another competitor who does physique. We're in a growing stage right now. I have a couple that are new, who are new to bodybuilding and new to NPC, and it's just on a bucket list. And so they're like, I want to get on stage and have that opportunity. So we're really working towards that. So maybe the end of this year, maybe early 2025. So some of my clients who are hitting NPC stages, maybe the end of the year. We're just all kind of taking a break right now, relaxing. I really stress with my clients, you got to have some structure, and you have to put boundaries up, because this sport it's very demanding, and it takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot out of the people that support you, your families. So it's really important that you focus on your family, and that when you feel like you need that time, take that time. The stage is always going to be there. So we can always hit it at any time, but take that time with your families and make sure that you have that support behind you. I also train powerlifters. I have a powerlifter that's actually going to compete in November at the Fall Festival in Denver, North Carolina. First time powerlifter. She's actually been training for a couple years now. So I'm really excited to see what kind of numbers she's going to throw. So she's a powerhouse. She's older, I would say she's a mature woman. And she'll be competing in masters. And I just love it. I love all the ladies that are of maturity. I mean, I'm almost 48. And I just love to see us get up there and just kick ass. So it's just so empowering to me. I coach all divisions in NPC, but I also dip in my toes and we were talking about this a few minutes ago before the show,
Mm.
but I'm dipping my toe into Miss USA pageants. So I'm actually have a client who's going to compete in that May 5th in about 4 weeks. So we're kind of at the end game, trying to make it to that May 5th deadline.
So is she gonna do basically runway, because it's a pageant for Miss USA? So the difference is, obviously, when you're doing competitive bodybuilding, you're moving from left to right, as a versus when you're on the runway, you're going from north to south. So how is that different from her when she's going on the stage? I mean, obviously she's going for Miss USA, but does she want to do NPC as well, or is her whole goal just to get back to the pageant?
No, she is super determined. She wants to do NPC too. So we're getting ready
Okay.
for it. Their stage presence is a T-walk, and they
Yeah.
do routines. So they're not set up
Okay.
with mandatories like NPC is.
Right.
She is a veteran Miss USA. She's early 40s. She's been doing Miss USA pageants for 20 years. Huge in the organization with philanthropy and everything. So she's a veteran. This isn't her first rodeo. So really what we've been focusing on is just the physicality of it, her physique. She's had some health setbacks last year. So we've really been working since November on just fine-tuning the physique. The pageant she's going to be in May is called Miss USA Strong, which is what I love about Miss USA, and really what kind of drew me to really working with her is that the pageants are now not so much geared towards beauty, but now the strength behind the beauty. And so in her essence, I want her to exude that in her physique, but we still are trying to keep it like a bikini competitor, very sleek, not overly demanding, but we want to make sure that, she presents on stage. And so I think she's going to win. I think all my competitors are going to win. So,
yeah.
But their pageant actually starts, it's 3 days. So she'll go Friday, and then Friday and Saturday, their pageants are like interviews and different other things that they get judged on. And then Sunday is the end where they do the wrap up. And that's when they do the T-walk and the routines and everything. And then they announce who the winners are for the categories.
Now, you said she'll be competing on the NPC stage as well, or just a pageant?
No, we're gearing up for NPC. She wants to compete at the end of this year. So we're looking at some shows for the end of this year. Trying for my first time competitors, I really try to keep them locally and close to home, just for the experience, and try to, keep the travel down a little bit if they're not used to having to pack everything and meal prep and all that stuff. So we're looking at, I think Mid-Atlantic is going to be too soon for her, but maybe Shelby, maybe something a little after that.
The state
just kind of locally.
Of the year, yeah. And the Carolina NPC has a lot of great amateur shows, so she'll have plenty of chances. And we're going to have to go that far from Charlotte.
She's a natural competitor. So we're looking at OCB, different federations too for her. So kind of stepping out a little bit. So we haven't really determined if it's going to be NPC or OCB or somewhere like that. But I know Chris Hollingsworth is doing the natural show in 4 weeks. Actually, the weekend she's doing her pageant, May 4th, he's doing the natural show. So, NPC is now bringing the natural shows too, which I'm excited about. So I don't have to step out to a different federation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way you just stay in the NPC, which is great. So now she'll do the pageant in May, but you don't know what category will she compete in the NPC. You said bikini, or what are you thinking?
She'll do bikini.
Okay.
She'll do bikini. Yeah. I try to, with my clients, I try to lead them to where their body naturally falls and naturally develops. And then as we train, if your physique starts to move into a different division, then those are discussions that we have. But she'll be bikini. First time, she doesn't have the muscle depth for wellness, nor the thickness. So, and she still needs some muscle maturity. So although she's in shape, she's never been an avid weightlifter, not in the true sense of a bodybuilder. So we're really still working on building that foundation for her.
Well, by her doing all the previous pageants, bikini is sort of a comfort zone as well, because that's all they do in the pageants as well. That's one of their areas, is the bikini part. So I guess that's a comfort zone for her, or give her, it won't be such a big shock whether she ends up going up to another division or not.
Exactly.
So when you look at it, you're also a powerlifter, and you do NPC figure, which you're getting ready to show. You say you're 30 weeks out. How's that all going to go together?
Oh, wow.
What's the contract?
Very strategically. A lot of conversations with my coach about food. Always about food. So I've identified a few powerlifting events that I want to participate in this year. I'm a state champion in North Carolina. I got my state championship in 2021 for USA powerlifting. And so I want to go back and reclaim my championship, but I am not lifting what I used to 3 years ago. So I'm really working on my strength. I'm trying to rebuild a lot of that. I had to take some time off from my dad, who was sick. So that was where I really needed to spend my time. So I'm really kind of getting back into everything. But the way I look at it is, so I started last August really trying to lean down a little bit to see what I had for NPC. What did my physique look like? What kind of division was I going to fall in? Because last time I was in prep, I was going to do wellness. But I had consistently been working out over the course of being with my dad and was able to obtain a little bit of growth. So lean down a little bit. And now I think I'm going to go back to my roots to figure and just kind of stay in that category. And then I had a discussion with my coach and told him that I wanted to do a powerlifting meet. And so we decided, instead of trying to rush the process to get on NPC stage, let's go through a growth period. Let's, put on a little more weight again, and let's concentrate on strength with powerlifting. So from January until April 1st, I've been going through a growing period. My strength has been phenomenal. My weight has gone up drastically. I feel really, really strong. I feel super good, and I've had no injuries. And that's like the number one thing that I really focus on.
Right.
And all my training is to do everything properly, have proper form, and don't rush the process. Because I don't want to end up getting injured and then you're out, and it just ruins the whole journey. So just a lot of carbs. I feel like I'm eating like a grown man right now. A lot of carbs, good bit of protein. But my weight's getting up there. So April 1st, I started my 30-week prep. My food hasn't really slimmed down that much, but I'm leaning down now.
You just started.
I just started. Yeah. My cardio, I haven't been doing cardio for the last few months. I was only allowed to, really just get steps in and go for walks. I was banned from everything else. So now I'm like on the treadmill 30 minutes, 5 times a week. And with the lifting and everything, I'm starting to shed the calories. My carbs have come down slightly, but not so much that it's really made an impact in how I feel. So I'll do the show. My first show is Ladies of Steel. It's May 4th.
Okay.
It's in Rock Hill. It's with Powerlifting USA, and phenomenal, wonderful organization to work with. They are so detailed and have everything together for the athletes. I just love working with them. So I'm excited to see kind of what women show up. It's all women, and different ranges, age groups. Just excited to see who's going to show up and kind of what the event's going to look like. It's always a lot of music, kind of like an NPC show.
Right.
So what the stage is going to look like for the lifting platform and everything. So I'm really excited. And then the next one, I'm shooting for Mid-Atlantic, October 19th for NPC. And then depending on how I do at Mid-Atlantic will determine if I'm going to do another NPC show before the end of the year, because I'm trying to get qualified for nationals. Because my ultimate goal is I want to get my pro card. I was trying to get my pro card last time before I had to dip out for my dad. So, if I choose not to do another NPC show, then I'll do the November powerlifting show, the fall festival, November 7th in Denver with my competitor.
And when's the Mid-Atlantic?
That's kind of the game. I believe October 19th.
Okay. So you're going to go from May 4th, do the Ladies of Steel, and then you're going to shift into full bodybuilding mode for the NPC show.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like a good plan. Right. So basically you will be bulking, trying to build strength, and you're mixing powerlifting and then kicking into NPC. So you got a good plan, I think. Who's your coach?
Ty Young.
Okay.
Ty Young, with Ty Young PT. He's one of the co-owners of Megaflex Gyms here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right there in Charlotte.
Wonderful guy. Knows all the, I don't know if I can cuss on here, knows all the shit to say to get me to lift heavier.
That's a great gym too. I did a shoot in there. That's a great gym.
Yeah, you were telling me. I told him about that this week. He was like, "Oh, wow." I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to get Glenn to come back out here for you."
Yeah, I like all the murals and stuff that they got in there. So it's a good layout too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great family up there. I love the embodiment of that gym and just the vibe when you walk in. But I mean, it's wonderful. Ty's great. He's a good coach. He's like a big daddy, an oversized daddy.
Now, how far is the gym from your house? You commute to go in?
Oh, like 10 or 15 minutes. Not far at
so
all.
you're close. Yeah, you're real close.
Yeah.
So
I usually train there. I have another home gym that I train at that has a sauna and stuff when I need it later on in prep, but I don't really use it as much unless he says, "Hey, you got to hit that 4 a.m. cardio." Then I might be hitting that 4 a.m. cardio there because it's like 5 minutes down the road.
That's great. So you got some great goals set up: powerlifting versus bodybuilding, and it's all going to go together like a marriage. And I think that's another article that you're writing coming up in the May issue of Amazon's. But let's talk about your article, "The Right Fit." What inspired you to write that? As far as it goes along the lines of coaching, you just mentioned your coach. What made you came to the conclusion that your coach was the right fit?
I think it's important for athletes and competitors, and not just elite athletes, but just lifestyle clients, people who have goals, who just, aesthetically want to look and feel better and just have better overall health and wellness. It's important to be able to understand and know the steps to find a right coach, because you can walk into, and I don't want to just like name gyms. I'm just going to say you can walk into Joe Blow's gym and see a personal trainer and they'll say, "Oh, I'm certified with yada, yada, yada. Come over here and train with me." And I've been in some gyms and I've seen some of these trainers work with some of these clients and the form is horrible. Clients, it's just, just some of the things that I know people watching this podcast, they're like, "Yep, I know exactly what Melissa's talking about." So I think it's important. It's an interview process, but I think people are intimidated over it and they forget that you're the one paying for this.
Right.
This is your life that you're putting in the hand of someone that you're saying, "Hey, I'm going to pay you these big bucks because it's not cheap. And I want you to transform me and and then some of these coaches are like, well, I don't want you to tell me how to do my job. I don't want you to give me feedback. You're just going to do what I tell you to do. And if you don't, then that's your fault. That's how come you're not reaching your goals. Right. And I just think that's utter BS. So what led me really is I was looking for a new coach this year because I knew that my goals had drastically changed. My old coach I was with was mainly for MPC. And I love her to death. She's one of my greatest mentors. Her name's Dee Jackson. And she is a phenomenal woman. And so, but I wanted to dip my toe back into powerlifting, and I wanted to be able to do both simultaneously. So I needed really a different coaching style for that. So I heard through the grapevine through one of my clients, she went to Megaflex, and she was telling me about my coach. And, she was like, you got to come in here and meet him. So came in, met him, great guy. And I asked him, I was like, I'm not with anyone right now. I really would like to get some personal training. Can we set something up? And so I personally trained with him for a couple months and just got to know him. And as we trained, I asked him questions, what kind of competitors do you have? What kind of divisions do you do? What's your training style? What kind of program would you have for me? And I talked to his clients who were on the floor because everyone comes in and usually works out as a team. And so I would ask them, what do you think? And they're, and I would get their feedback, and the feedback was just, spectacular. Everybody had such great things to say about him, about the gym, about the vibe in the gym, which to me is super important, is the vibe and where you work out, and do you feel empowered? And so it was an interview process, and I didn't make a quick decision. I took the time. And then when I finally, was like, look, this is what I'm going to do. We sat down. I think another important conversation to have with your coach, especially if you're an elite athlete, especially if you're going into MPC and you're trying to get, IFBB Pro card and all that, is you need to have that conversation with them about PEDs and, performance enhancements. And because I've had many coaches in the past, and, and have been told, take this, take that, do this to get on stage, do that, don't question me. And, and really myself had health issues from it. And I think that it's important, as a good coach, you have to be very open and honest and have open communication with your athletes, and be upfront with them on how you feel. And I give all my athletes my opinion and my recommendations, and I give them links to where they need to go and do their own resource. I give them resources, but I tell them, do your homework. You need to be a master of your craft. Don't just blindly follow your coach. It's a partnership. And I think that's where a lot of people get intimidated in it. And that's why I wrote the article, because I feel like you need to step into your own and own it, and own your own health, and demand the results that you want to see. Now, as a coach, I'm going to tell you, if you come and tell me, hey, I want to look like Beyonce in 3 months, but you look like Lizzo, I'm going to say, I'm sorry.
Great comparison.
But that's not realistic. But we can have a conversation, and let's set up a program that we can make you get the body that you want to attain for. So that's why I wrote the article. I think it's just important that, everybody just be empowered when they walk in, and don't just walk into a gym and think, oh my gosh, all these muscle people around here, they just look like they know what they're doing, and they're just so intimidated. No, we're the nicest people in the world. If you come and ask me a question, even if I'm in the middle of a set, I'm still going to talk to you. So, it's just, I wanted people to have that knowledge.
Well, it is intimidating. And you got to admit that, because you're trying to change your life when you go in as a client. And yes, there's a fear factor of it. You think all eyes are on you when you walk into a gym. And then so when you sit down with that trainer or coach that you want to train you to change your life, really, not just in competing for the stage, because it is a lifestyle,
Yeah.
and you got to admit to it. And then you're right. You mentioned the most important point. It's an interview, but as the client or the interviewer, not not the other way around. And do
Mm-hmm.
your due diligence and research. As I've been saying lately when I was talking to Gina Cavallero, hey, it's 2024. The days of, oh, well, the coach gave me this and I took this and this happened. You got to do your own research, because it's dual liability, and it takes two to tangle. And,
Mm-hmm.
do your due diligence and find the right coach that's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you have to go on from there. Do you
Mm-hmm.
find that it was easier to have a female coach versus a male coach, or does it matter? Because it seems like there's a comfort zone when you're talking gender, where okay, I don't want, especially with a guy, I don't want no woman
Mm-hmm.
training me. So that's sort of an intimidating factor, which is ignorance on their part as well. But vice versa, do you find as a woman that you consciously sought a female coach?
Um, no, not necessarily. For me, I go with who has the most experience and the knowledge and who I feel most
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with. I am a very candid, unfiltered person. And so I look for that in a coach as well. I want honesty. I want brutal honesty. And it's really hard to hurt my feelings, but I feel like I need that tough love in order for me to
Right.
excel to the next level. So for me, with a female coach, D is hard as hell. She is not easy. She has very high standards for her
Mm-hmm.
competitors because she has very high standards of herself. And I
And
love
you
that
talking
about
about D?
her. And
What's your
that's
last name?
D Jackson.
D Jackson. Yeah, I've heard of
Yeah.
her.
She's a IFBB figure pro. She actually went to the Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
So I love her to death. And I think that, because she has high expectations, she has that of her athletes. And so she
Right.
taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, made me demand more of myself. Um, the reason I didn't really necessarily go pick a male per se, I just went
Mm-hmm.
with his knowledge base of what he had of the two sports and how to
Gotcha.
blend them together.
Gotcha.
Um, so, I do look for, and this is, for females going out and looking at male coaches. One of the things I
Mm-hmm.
do look at is why the atmosphere is so important to me is that male coach, is he professional when he relates and communicates to his
Mm-hmm.
female clients, or is he that personal trainer that is just building a roster? And I'm not with
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean,
And just
I'm
taking
married.
your money. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not about that. I'm very I'm all about competing and I'm serious
Mm-hmm.
about it. So I'm not in it to get a date. And so that's one of the things I look at. And as a female client, I feel like, look at that professionalism, how they hold themselves when you're looking at like a female versus a
Right.
male coach. And I have a couple male clients. I really don't train males per se.
Uh-huh.
It's really only referral based. And the two I have are referral based, have come to me from other clients, other female clients.
Right.
But they'll tell you I'm hard because I have high expectations.
Right.
And, so I'm going to make you work twice as hard. And like I told my coach today in the gym, we were talking about one of the girls in there working out. And I said, you don't leave anything on the table.
Right.
You go until you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know no other way except training hard in the gym. I mean, if it's in the program, obviously programs change, but I mean, you give it your full on. And that's how I train my clients is you're focused when you walk in the door. This is a job. You
Mm-hmm.
hired me to help you achieve a goal, achieve a transformation. And that's what we're here to do. And we talk and gab and gossip at the same time,
Right.
but we're here to work.
Well, it's a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
especially yourself. You're in a 30-week prep. So, I mean, that's a lot of time to get to know each other, to build chemistry and
Mhm.
get you to your goal as well. So it's a partnership long term going in. You got to understand that, because you didn't gain all that weight overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. You're not going to reach your goal overnight. So you got to understand the process of it.
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to your next article, especially as you transition through powerlifting and then getting ready for your show. Looking forward to following your journey. So this is great. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you. Give me any other last words that you would have for them out there.
Oh my
Anyone
God.
that's looking for a coach, or what are your thoughts?
I would say last words are just, be true to yourself and do what you love. And age is just a damn level it up. Don't let it stop you at anything. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. It's all about up here.
Right.
The rest will follow. And show yourself grace. Show yourself some grace.
It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. Because, and you're right, age is just a number, but you need to start. That's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
You need to start. That's it for this week. The Amazon's podcast is brought to you by Maximus Posing Suits. Michelle Bogdan, as she gets the stage this weekend at the Triple O Dynasty, wishing her all the best. And of course, Teresa Avancic, Amazon-sponsored athlete, hits the stage as well at the Triple O Dynasty this weekend. And of course, the Charlotte Pro is this weekend. You don't have anybody in the Charlotte Pro, or?
Not this year. I did last year. I had someone in wellness.
Okay. So it's going to be a great show. I'm going to go up there for Saturday and Sunday and look around. I think women's bodybuilding amateur and women's physique is Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I'll, of course, check out the wellness on Sunday. Melissa Guerrero will be competing there, but it's a stacked class, as they say. And that just means that some of the best competitors in the world are coming because everybody's trying to get that Olympia qualification. Like to tell everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to all the new subscribers to the website, amazonsfitmag.com, where you can order all the latest issues. Simply go to the site, click on issues, and you can order it from there. And if not, just reach out to me. I have some in the inventory as well. And then, of course, all of those that have subscribed to the YouTube channel, Amazon's Fitness Magazine. We will see you next week. For Melissa Bisnet, we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Bye, Glenn.
Bye now.